Welcome to our Getting Started webinar. We will be reviewing the page ladder, how to add fonts, setting up the ReplayIt private photo submission account, and how to transfer material from a 2022 account to the current year. You will be able to find all the information I'm covering in the MemoryBook Online Manual under Design and Creation. This webinar will be approximately 20 to 30 minutes long. Okay, so to get to our login screen, you can either use the link that gets emailed to you, or you can come here to our company website, memorybook.com, and you can click on the link here, the MemoryBook login. I've got it open. You'll need to use the job number, and then your username and password. I have it saved in my Chrome internet browser. So if you wanted to log into last year's, you would need to use last year's credentials and choose 2022 here in the drop-down. But we're going to log into the 2023. Here's a link. If you've forgotten your password, an email will go to the email address that we have in the system, and then you could reset your password. Okay, once you get logged in here, this is our welcome screen. And there's a deadline clock here. On mine, I don't have that set because I've got a demo account and we want it to stay open for quite a while. And then here's the total pages. So this kind of tells you how many are in progress, how many are not started. Now, when you get logged in, this whole circle will be red because you haven't started any pages, of course. But once you put something on a page, that turns them to in progress and then completed and submitted. And your final goal, of course, is to get all your pages submitted by your deadline. You can set some upcoming events up. I have this for April 21st. That's when my yearbooks are going to get here. We're going to have a signing party. And then maybe if you have a yearbook committee meeting or something that you want your committee to be aware of, or these are some tasks that you need to take care of, and maybe you want to set just a little deadline for yourselves, you can go in here and set those. The tagged items, that's just images. That's telling you how many images you have tagged. That would be like your activity images. Here's just a little overview of your images that are uploaded to your program. So to get started, we'll go to our plan, and this is where you're going to find your page ladder. Let me make my screen just a little bit bigger. So we have a couple of quick loading tools here. If you filled in this section and description here last year, and this is what we call the page ladder. If you filled that information in here on the page ladder, then you can click this load last year's descriptions and sections, and it's going to fill this area in for you. Now, if you need to make any changes, you can always highlight what's in the box and delete it and retype it. And then you'll always want to go up here and save all if you make any changes here in the page ladder. We also have a button that you can load last year's page designs. And if you click that, it's going to load your templates on your pages exactly like it was last year. It's going to take out all of the text and just put in some default text, that Latin or the gibberish that comes into a text box when you add them to the page. And the image boxes will all be empty. It's a good place to start if you pretty much want to follow how you set the book up last year, and you can change anything you want on the pages. But here in the page ladder, this is page 1, so it's on the inside. It's the right side of the inside of the cover. So if you open the cover, your back of your cover will be on the left side. It would be over here, and then this will be your first page by itself. And then the way these are laid out, we have the even page on the left and the odd on the right, and that goes all through your ladder that way. And then the last page is the same thing. It's the very last page of the book. It's going to be on the left side, so the right side is going to be the inside of the cover. I know sometimes the natural thing would be to think that that's your cover, the front and back of your cover, but it is not. If you'll notice, there are color codes around the pages that's telling you what status the page is in. So the red is not started. That means that I've gone in here and I haven't done anything to the pages, but I've added something to these other pages. So that's made them in progress. The next step will be, once you add something to the page and you're in progress, you'll get the complete button. So when you're finished with your page, you'll click complete. It's going to give you any error messages that you need to fix on the page. And then the next step would be to submit it. So you would go through all those steps to get the pages finished and get the book submitted. Now, if you have a team that you're working with and maybe you have staff members and you've got them assigned as staff, you can come in and lock these pages by clicking these little lock icons. And then whoever logs in that is not an advisor won't be able to work on those pages unless they're assigned to those pages. And I'm going to show you that here in a second. So here in this area over at the left, we have different filters. So if you wanted to maybe see who has what pages assigned to them, when you choose that person in the drop-down, it just shows you those pages that that person is assigned to. Sometimes advisors call and say, I can't find all my pages. They've disappeared. I don't know where they've gone. If you'll go back to these filters and just check these, this needs to say all staff, and then all the pages come back. And it's the same way with all of these other filters. You can choose the ones that are completed, in progress, not started, but you want it on all page statuses for all of these to show up, and all lock statuses. This little button here is kind of maybe you have somebody that you're wanting to help on the book, but you don't want them to see the page. You can click that and it hides the page from your staff. If they're an advisor, they can come in, of course, and click that button and see that. Up here in the top blue bar, there's a Save All button. So if you changed maybe this information here in the page ladder, I'm going to make that, instead of PTA, I'm going to say Teacher of the Year. You'll have to come up here and click Save All, and then that's going to lock in that information. Now, if you fill this information in this year, next year you'll have that load last year's descriptions and sections, and that part will be done for you again next year. In the print drop down, you can print the ladder. Now, as you get some of your pages completed, you'll be able to print all, and that's going to give you create a PDF of the whole book that you could actually save to your computer or print out, and you could maybe have someone else proof your book for you. This little box here is just a selection button. If you check it, it's going to check all of these boxes down here. So then if you wanted to go to your actions, and if you had your pages all in the complete status or in progress, you could click on the complete button and it would complete those all at once.
I saw.
And I made
Just a moment.
the reminder for Class Dojo, and they're making copies and they're going to send it all out today.
Mute you guys so that there isn't so much background noise. Okay, and then display range, you can choose how many pages you wanted to view at a time here in this area. And I think that works with the print option also. The page mover, when you are working on your pages and you want to move your pages, you can go here and you can move them two at a time or switch them to just single view. Now you always want to keep in mind, if you've got any pages completed or locked, you don't want to go in here and move pages. You want to go in and unlock those pages and make sure they're in progress so that they shuffle properly. Because if you had two locked here, all of these pages behind it are going to shuffle, but nothing's going to happen around it because it's locked in place. Let me go back to my page ladder here. Okay, the next thing I want to go over is how to add staff members or staff logins. So if you're working with a committee and you or a group of students, you may want to come in here and create staff logins for them. The different privileges on the staff logins is on page 167 in the manual. So an advisor goes in and they have access to everything in the program and to submit pages, unlock them, delete images and things like that in the image library. But a staff has limited privileges. So you want to make sure that you give your students the staff login status so that they're kind of limited to what they can do. To create a login, you'll just go over here and you'll click Add Staff, and you'll type in their first name and last name, give them a username, create a password for them, and it's got certain credentials. Must be at least one number, one uppercase and lowercase letter, and at least 10 or more characters. So you would create their password for them. So you'll want to keep track of that. Put an email in here. You could use your own email if you're a teacher and you wanted to kind of keep track of if your students go in and try to reset their password. And then here in the role, you'll want to choose what their level of access will be. An editor has a little bit more access to everything, but like I said, you might want to refer to that list on page 167 to decide what status you want all of your students to have. Now, if you have another person that is an advisor with you, you can always go in and create another login for them and give them advisor status, and then they'll have the same privileges as you. So once you've done that, their names will show up through here and over here. Now, if you need to go in and make their login inactive, you can just go here and click that. You can also view their activity. And if they forgot their password, this is where you would go to go in and reset their password. So this is where I say you may want to keep track of what their passwords are, because you can't see it once you create it. It'll show up like this for you too. So you would go in and reset their password. If you wanted to email everybody on your team and you had their email addresses in there, you can click this button and the email window will pop up. You can view activity on everybody's login. This will tell you who's done what. That's kind of handy if maybe a person got deleted off a page and you wanted to see where that happened. You can go in here to the view activity and you maybe can track down what happened. So once you have everybody logged in here and you have them ready to be users, you can go here to your page ladder, and then in this drop down where it says unassigned, you can click on unassigned and you can choose who works on these pages. So I just assigned John Smith to page 12 and page 13. I'm going to go up here and click Save All. So now when John logs in, he will be able to see all the pages, but the only pages he will be able to work on are the ones that he's assigned to. Now, if all of these others are unassigned, then they're open. Anybody can work on those. So if you wanted to keep track of who's, working on what pages, you'll need to assign those pages to everybody. Now, an advisor can go in and work on any of the pages, but the staff members, if they have their own login, then they'll only be able to work on those pages that are assigned to them if they're all are assigned to different people. Next thing I want to show you is how to add fonts. So you'll go to the drop down and go to the fonts screen. These right here that are purple are, of course, say active. You can search different fonts here by type of fonts. So you'll click on one of the fonts and you can see a preview over here. Now, if you wanted to use that one, you'd click active and then it jumps to the top. So it's kind of hard to see sometimes. And you want to kind of keep in mind what your pages are going to look like. You want a bold, nice strong font if it's going to be on a busy background, maybe students' names and whatnot. You don't want to place a thin font on a really busy background. That's something we kind of struggle with here. We put books on hold because you can't read the text because of the background. So you either want to lighten the backgrounds or choose a font that will show up well. And then here in the styles, you can create different styles. So when you go to your pages and work on them, you can click on the style and drag it over to the page, and it's already formatted for what you want to use it for. So if you had a little paragraph that you're putting underneath student pictures or activity pages that you kind of want to describe a little bit about the activity, you can go here and you can create a new style, and you can name it. You could just say captions. Make it body copy. Choose one of your fonts and the size. I'm just going to make it 14 for now and keep the attributes as normal, and I'm going to save. So now we have this captions category right here. Of course, I have several, but you can see that when you get to your pages. You can choose which one you want. So when you go to your page, you wanted to add that particular caption on here. You can go here and just click and drag it to the page, and it's already formatted. But you can still change the size of the font and the color and everything on the page. So it's still editable, but it's just kind of a quick way. I have one for the headlines. Just kind of tells you, shows you that. Okay, let's go to the ReplayIt private photo submission. Now, if you wanted to have a separate website that parents or teachers or whoever you would like to contribute images, get images from, you can come here to your private ReplayIt or ReplayIt private photo submission, and you can set it up. So you'd want to set your start date for today or however soon you'd like that to start. And then your end date, you need to set that for maybe about a month or 2 weeks ahead of maybe the last event you want to have in your book so that you can still get images. Now you want to keep in mind with these two dates that the start date, you won't be able to test this website until that date comes around. So sometimes if people get it set up and they call in, they say, I can't get logged in. And it's because the date is several days away and it hasn't started yet. So you check the little box and then click save. This link right here, and it's hard for me to highlight a lot of times, this is what you want to copy and paste, and you can send that in an email or in a Word document, and then the parents or the teachers could just click on that, and it's going to take them right to the spot where they can choose their images and upload them. And when you get those, when that site becomes active, you're going to find the pictures that people upload in your image library in your inbox ReplayIt folder here. So they would be in this folder. And this is just one big folder and everything drops in here. There isn't any way to sort it out before it comes in here. So what you would want to do if you're going to have quite a few of these images and you have a team that's helping you, maybe you could assign someone to come in here, and if they don't have advisor status, you could actually create a folder down here and maybe name it ReplayIt to sort or something. And you could move all those images down into that folder, and then whoever's helping you could go ahead and move the images in the correct folders or create folders for you and kind of help you keep organized with that. Like I say, a staff member won't see this folder. They won't be able to get in there and see that. So that kind of, if you create a folder down here and move them into it, then then they will be able to access those images. And also monitor and see, oh, some of those pictures I don't want them to use. So you could either delete them or move them to a folder that they won't be able to pull them from. Okay, if you want to transfer material from last year, sometimes the teachers, they're always there at teacher on picture day, or maybe your principal doesn't like getting their picture taken, or you have maybe a picture of the school that you use each year or a mascot. Then you can access last year's images by logging into last year's book, and then you'll click on the folder you want to move forward. I'm going to move this student life forward, and we're going to pretend I'm logged into last year's book. You'll click on the button that says 2023, and it's going to put a little arrow on the folder, and that means that that's moved forward. So now when I'm logged into this year's book, I'll go here to my 2022 images, and here these are the folders that I've moved forward from last year. So what you would want to do is select the image that you want to use. So I'm going to move this person up into the staff folder this year. So you would move them in there, and you will probably have to tag them again. So hopefully it's just a few images that you don't that you'll need to grab. But the next webinar will show you how to tag images and how to make sure your class photos are all sorted correctly. Now, if you want to save templates or access templates from last year, you would log into last year's book, and you would go in and save whatever pages that you wanted to save from last year. So let's say we wanted to save this one. I'm logged into last year's book. You would go to File, Save as a Template. I'm going to call this Ribbon Candid. I'm going to save both pages, so I'm going to click Save. Now, if you go to your Designs tab in this year's book, you have an area where it says My 2022 Templates, and you'll find all the templates that you saved last year that were templates. And see, this one I saved as a template, and I moved it over to the page. So that kind of helps you also, if maybe you have a baby page or a graduating page where you have a big picture of the student and then a little small baby picture. This also gives you a place that you can save that template and then just move it over to the page. And to use the template, you'll just click and drag it over to the page. Oh, these are locked. I lock these, of course, in the page ladder. When you save them as a template from last year, it will hold on to whatever text is here. So like this is my heading from last year, so it held that. I did not put any students in these pictures last year, so when I saved it as a template, so it's still a flowable flow panel. So let me go through my notes here and make sure I've gone over everything for you. I want to remind everybody to be sure to send us your class photo CD, either your CD or your link to download those. If you send your rep the link, then we can go in and we'll download them, and we'll do our pre-flight on the spreadsheet, and we'll get them uploaded to your book, and you'll be able to find those images in the image library. And here, if they're uploaded, you'll see a little gray arrow next to the word portrait, and then you'll see all your folders like this. So be sure to get those to us. And there isn't a real deadline for that, but you want to definitely get it to us. We require a week to have those to get them processed and uploaded. And then you'll want to be sure to have plenty of time to get them on your pages. So just get those to us. Do we have any other questions? have,
I,
how do you
I
access
have
the
a
student pictures that have been downloaded? Um,
yes.
okay, that did I answer that? Going to the image library and you
No,
see them in the
I,
portrait
I didn't
section?
see it.
Okay. When we get them uploaded, you're going to go to your image library under Create.
Okay.
And then when they're uploaded, they'll be in the portrait section here in the separate folders. And you want to be sure to tell us how you want to put them on a page. So if you're going to put just all the first grade in one big group, then tell us by grade. If you actually want them by teacher, maybe you have 3 first grades and you want each teacher's class separate, then tell us teachers, and that way we will upload them. If we have that information that the photographer sent, we'll upload them uh, in that way then.
Okay, and then the very first page that you went to where we logged in, I cannot find that page. Is there like a specific URL? The
Okay,
very first thing, but like the very first one.
the login page,
It
like
probably was like right after the login
this
page.
page or this page.
Uh,
It's memoryebooks.com.
okay, this one I have. It's the one. What's the page after this one?
Oh, okay,
If
the
you don't,
welcome page.
I think that's what it is.
Okay, where the
Now I'm
countdown
starting to get.
clock and everything is.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's not it.
Oh,
I don't know. I'll have to look and see again.
okay.
Thank
The
you, though.
page ladder is where I started, where I had the page,
Yes.
where all the pages are set. It's under plan and it's page ladder.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions? You can type them in the chat bar here.
I have one more question. I'm sorry, I'm probably taking everyone's time.
That's fine.
Regarding covers, is there a webinar for covers?
Creating a cover or just ordering your standard cover?
Creating.
No, we do not have one.
Okay.
Now, on our website, let's see if I can, I always takes me a minute to find it. Design it. Okay, if you go here to covers and you design it, there's
Mm-hmm.
templates here that if you're using like any of the Adobe programs, we have templates here that fit the size of your book and what kind of book it is, softback or hardback and whatnot. There's a publisher template here. Yeah, so this is where you can go to get some templates. Now, you can always call and we'll be happy, if you ask for me, Leslie, I'll be happy to visit with you and kind of explain it to you, what you'll need
Leslie,
to do.
I will take you up on that because I
Okay,
don't use Photoshop. I don't use any of that stuff. I mean,
okay,
I'm literally working from ground zero here.
okay.
So,
I
okay,
will
cool.
say that if you had a picture, if you just have a very simple layout and you say you want the school picture with our school name, if you give us just a little illustration of that and you provide the picture and tell us what color to make the background or what kind of background you're kind of thinking, we can put that together really quick for you. You wouldn't have to
Oh,
design it. Just
great.
give us the idea and the elements to work with.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And you can work with your rep on that too.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Okay.
I came on late because I don't know why I had it down at 3:30 and we get out of school at 3, so I got on late. But will this be recorded so I can go back and watch it?
Yes, I've recorded the whole thing, and so we're going to send out that link tomorrow, and then you'll have probably this one and one before that we had. So it's the very same information, but yes, we'll send out that link so you can watch it or listen to it again.
Okay, yeah, because I'm like her. I'm starting from ground zero too, so I'm trying to figure it out.